we're waiting for you. That's why I gave you a standing ovation.
I'm glad that's not.
We'll have to reenact it.
Yeah.
Reenact it. Oh.
Lock the door again.
All right, today is Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. The time is now 4:07 p.m. We are opening this joint city council and Parks and Trails Commission. It's Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. The time is now 4:07. That's what I sound like.
I've never had that happen before. I don't know.
Parks and Trails Commission. It's Wednesday, October 22nd.
No, you're still logged in.
All of these.
That way. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I had YouTube up, so I'm sorry. Okay. We should be good to go.
Good. Are we still live?
Yes.
All right, so I've already opened the meeting. It would be great if we could go around and do introductions really quick and how long you have been on the Parks and Trails Committee and or our counselor, since it looks like this is our very first joint meeting. So clearly, Jennifer Massey, Mayor, been here a short time since January 1st of this year. Counselor Gunderson, do you want to?
Yeah, Mark Gunderson, this is year 3. Yeah, 3.
I'm with this guy. I started with him, Brandon Sunding.
That's it.
You guys get to see me quite often, but and then actually started out with this group before council. So probably, I don't know how long it was, a year and a half. But
What's the name again?
yeah.
I'm Lucas Green. I joined the Parks and Trails Commission in January of this year.
Jacob Woodruff, and I've been on the Parks and Trails Commission for a very long time. Can I tell you when I started? It's been like 10 years.
So it's been like 10 years?
Longer, probably.
Nice.
Longer. Yeah,
Right.
longer.
Anybody got a beat?
No, not me.
Okay.
Scott Jacobson, 3 years.
Howard Blumenthal, well, I was on the bicycle and pedestrian committee before Doug Morton included me for this, so I want to say I'm a good 10 years or more also.
We had He's Locke.
Jerry Belcher, and I've been on the planning commission for 4 years, and then the arts and culture for 4 years, and this is my 11th year on this. And when this term's over with,
You're gonna do it again.
Yes.
yeah,
You gotta help us get the.
but this has been a very enjoyable group to work with.
Dana Lathrop, and I've been on the commission, I think 4 or 5 years.
You think somebody online or?
I'm Lynn Pettit, and I've been on the commission since 2019.
All right, welcome, Lynn. All right, so discussion of items. We already had called to order. So discussion of items. Number 1 on the agenda is Friends of Group.
Yeah,
Take it.
absolutely. So we currently have, I believe, 2 Friends of groups officially, one for Dalton Lake and one for Nob Hill. And we have had interested persons who would like to start Friends of groups for McCormick Park and the Botanical Gardens. And so as a commission, we're very excited about that and support this. And we're hoping to have some kind of clearly defined process for that. I know when we were looking into that a couple of months ago to get the new interested persons set up, that there was some need for clarity on the website and the process to make that happen. And so we were hoping that working with the administrator and council that process can be kind of streamlined and fine tuned so that we can encourage more people to create friends of groups and help participate with the parks and take action in our parks. That helps out.
So you're trying to create a website?
You guys already have, there's a page on the
Okay.
website, but there was erroneous information
Okay.
and the process is not.
So it's not actually starting a separate website, it's
Mhm.
cleaning up. Okay,
So that's Shauna Dugan is the person for contact. and
Okay.
things Like that.
okay. John, who manages our web pages?
It's a multi-fronted approach. There's Kathy and Lisa and then Crystal, and there's other users that have access to update information. We just need to know about it.
So for this purpose, who would be the point of contact for this committee to get updated information on there?
So it sounds like there's a point of contact update that needs to happen. I can.
Yeah, it was previously listed as Shauna, on there, and then just making sure that based on what the city administrator and council are looking for as far as requirements, process, roles and responsibilities, boundaries for the friends of groups. Just
We
having
did
some-
develop a little pamphlet one time that said the rights and responsibilities of it. We came up with, and I thought you were involved in that too, John.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, so somewhere, I think there was a pamphlet made like
Yeah.
a week, something or other.
As it is right
All
now,
of us.
it's pretty ill defined.
Yeah,
So just recommending that it be revisited on your guys' end, for clarity purposes, and then that way we can move forward and encourage more public participation.
so I think on the website, Friends of Bob Hill is the only one that's actually listed. Dalton Lake is an advisory, not a friends group.
John, can we look at that for a future agenda item?
What's the difference? I don't know.
Look at that. Okay. And then.
Must be a certain-
This is easy.
Yeah.
Well, if we have an advisory group, we'd have to have a different set of rules for them. Then.
Yeah.
So,
Advisory versus the friends of.
yeah, I think there's an advisory.
Gone through that website to see that web page, to
Mhm.
see any suggested additional updates that you guys had on your end as well.
We had it pulled up last time, when we had the groups here. And, it's not there, actually. And I was under the understanding that, what the information was on there and the definitions was originally dictated by city administrator. And so, so really all you have, is just kind of a quick blurb encouraging people to do so. And then the guidelines
It's not pamphlet.
is the one pamphlet. But again, it's, see, so now they've updated it to the Parks Field Supervisor Tori Shelby. So I don't know if that's still accurate.
Fact.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard that story.
So that is updated on the, pamphlet.
So we just need to do a comb over and look. through it.
Yeah.
Should
Yeah.
and add additional information on the friends of groups.
Absolutely. And then that way we can be more proactive and getting those established.
But we have, my understanding, we have an advisory group. That'd be something different.
This is a link holders, advisory group, not a friends group.
That I'm not sure, you'd have to ask Lynn. Lynn?
Dalton is quite different from the St. Helens Parks because it's owned by ODOT, that area. And so there was an agreement back in 2009 with St. Helens that they would manage and maintain. So when we made that 56 acres back in 2019, through the encouragement actually of our president on city council then, Doug Morton, he advised that we put together an advisory committee because we're working with the state and other entities. And so we had our 3 people, which 2 were on the Soil and Water Conservation District, and 1 was head of the OSU Extension Center for about 40 years, Chip Bubel. So we had to work with everything from DSL to a lot of different entities. It was quite different.
That would be different, I think, probably just due to the nature of the contract with Dalton Lake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you for that.
And also, I wanted to let you know, we do have a Facebook site, but that's for people to put pictures on or notify if there's any homeless on the property or we've had any vandalism, that kind of thing.
So that's not a city-run Facebook page?
No, it's a personal page.
It's personal, I'm sorry, it's personal, but it's tied to an advisory committee. City?
No, we had an advisory committee in order to present this as a preserve because it was owned by ODOT. But I inherited a Facebook page that was already opened by a private party. And so it's very passive. There's not much to it, but there is a lot of people that are interested that live in the area and would like to know what's going on.
Got it. What's the name of that Facebook page?
Friends of the Dalton Lake Nature Preserve.
Got it. All right. Anything more on the Friends of or the website, webpage, I should say, not website. All right, we'll roll on to number 2, roles and responsibilities.
So we have the municipal code handout that has the section from municipal code specifically pertaining to the Parks and Trails Commission, and just the section outlining roles for the responsibilities, powers, and duties. We've been discussing the bylaws and municipal code regarding Parks and Trails for the last several months on the commission, looking at different aspects of it. And there were a couple of things that the commission has brought up that we'd like to see looked at and potentially changed. One of which specifically is on here, when we talk about the locations of the commissioners are responsible for being attentive to, it includes the words publicly accessible buildings and associated grounds. And this is a term that, with the conversations with Buck and whatnot, may not be appropriate or applicable to us, because that could be any publicly accessible building or grounds, which is really kind of out of the scope of what we're looking at. Unless you guys deem otherwise, is not really the focus of the Parks and Trails Commission, because that could include the police station, that could include the city hall, that could include a lot of facilities is really outside the scope. One of the other things that is kind of potentially not pertinent would be on section 7, line 7, to make periodic site visits and inspections in accordance with public meeting laws, which we do, but with the approval of the city engineering director. And so that is not something that we've done in action. And so that is another line that could be potentially removed. And this would be the council's responsibility to make any edits to the municipal code, not ours. And then overall, as a whole, we've been discussing the fact that the Parks and Trails Commission are an advisory group. So the commission itself, in here in the beginning lines, we're to help call attention to the council regarding issues and whatnot with the parks. About the effectiveness or lack thereof of the parks and trails, review and make recommendations to city council on the operation, administration, maintenance, etc. And as a commission, and this has been pretty historic since I've joined the commission for sure, kind of this ongoing sensation or belief that the Parks and Trails Commission has not been integrated well with decision-making on parks and trails in the city of St. Helens. And this is the first joint meeting we've ever had. That's kind of evidence of. But when you look at things like the waterfront park and everything that was done there, we did have a couple of updates to our commission, but overall, the commissioners were not involved in the planning, were not involved. They really weren't offered opportunity for input. Unless they were, notified ahead of time and made the point to come to the meetings and witness, but as a whole, to be able to discuss, to be able to give, commission input or dialogue, there really wasn't any of that happening. And so the commission as a whole, I think, are looking to build communication and to be more integrated in the decision-making processes, or at least be allowed the opportunity to act as that advisory role as it is stated in our responsibilities, powers, and duties.
I just want to add two kind of examples to that. We're an advisory commission. We're not trying to tell the city council what to do. But there was two kind of major issues we had. One was with Sand Island Marine Park, when they were putting up structures there. We'd like to had some input in that, and the city council does what they wanted. And the other one was the design of the stage. I wasn't that interested in it, but there were some people here that would really have liked to have been involved with that. And so both of those two were done without, us, the Parks and Trails Commission being aware. And we think that, we should, at least have an input and take it or leave it, but we should have it.
If it's something that affects one of our parks, we should be able to weigh in on it, not to hear it in the newspaper or.
Find out later.
Yeah, find out later.
Or this group, because we had changes in the group with our knowledge, or discussion about it. We're just looking to change the dynamic of how we interact and, advise.
I think what we're not asking, we don't want you guys to come and ask for our permission, because obviously you guys make the decision. We just want to be in on it.
And be able to.
Hey, this is what we're gonna do. Hey, thanks for letting us know. It's awesome. Thank you.
How do you want that to happen?
I think having these joint commission meetings is going to
Sorry,
be
right.
really helpful, right? This is a huge step forward for sure. And personally, I feel like, especially with some of the big projects that are going on, they're going to continue, thank goodness, hopefully, but being kind of roping us in whenever there's changes to those plans, if you're able to. I understand that with timing and the way those work, it's not always feasible to be like, hey, for every little thing, but just more frequent updates and more frequent contact on those. And then if there are situations that, say future, okay, we're gonna put in a park, or we're thinking about doing these massive changes, kind of running by some preliminary planning too, and be like, what is the commission, what's your input, what's your vision? Because we're the ones who are in the parks all the time, we're dedicated to them. And we'll talk more in a little bit about how we're being proactive about looping in community feedback and stuff too. But that's our role, is to be informed and also advise as it's appropriate.
The answer to that, what my feeling is, real major things, like Marine Park, like the stage. And how would you do that? One reason is, our contact, Brandon, he could bring that to us, and then we could, us with our feedback and he could then take that to the city council. But it, it was just major issues that we were really, that we were concerned about.
And if I say, oh, sorry, Howard, if I may say, having enough notice where if it's something that we feel is really important that we would like to provide feedback for, to be able to have the time to do so. So late, super last minute notification on some things makes us, I'm gonna speak for the group and I apologize, but like just that we don't have the opportunity to give advice if that's to do.
And one of the other things too is if we learned like late was like, you wouldn't be a pump station down at the other end. Luckily, they didn't put any red oaks right in front of our park, but we're a white oak area. And now we've got red oaks down here. And when the birds start flying around and bearing those acorns, a lot of areas were worried that we're gonna start ending up with red oak, which is non-native to the area, growing in some areas now. And they're really aggressive growing trees, the red oak, white oak, so.
Well, I mean, I feel pretty safe on speaking on behalf of the council saying that I think that we want as much input as we possibly can, right? I personally feel like from what I've seen, there's a lot of silos and segregation between a lot of the commissions. I'm happy we're doing this today, but I for one want as much information as possible. I'm of the opinion personally that if that has anything to do with the parks and there's going to be a change, you guys should be noticed. That's my opinion. I'd love to get my other council
I would agree
members.
with that. I was just gonna say, what I've seen more often than not, what tends to happen is city staff will have a project and they come and present it and they said, this is what we're doing in your park. And it would be nice if before that step happened, they came to this group and said, do you have any input? This is our proposal. What do you think? But I'm just thinking of the kayak launch down here in Great Cliffs and lots of different projects, whether it's the memorial at McCormick Park. They're all good projects. But it would be nice if this group was included in the planning
I
process.
think it's up to us to help encourage that and foster that too, and reminders if we're having a pattern change, right? And that's something that we really like staff to do is in them. I mean, I've been on plenty of committees and advisory committees and councils, and if you're not asked input, then what value do you really have, right? It kind of diminishes that feeling. And so I certainly don't want that feeling for this commission. It's vitally important what you guys do in our parks. So.
I'm just thinking the way it's been laid out for years, like it says, which I think most people don't realize that it does incorporate more than just the parks. It talks about public squares and like Dana said, the publicly accessible buildings and associated grounds. So that would be the grounds at places like the library and even the police station. So now we're designing a new police station with grounds and landscaping. That's something that this group should have been looped into. And as far as I know, I don't believe that.
In the garden,
That happened.
split of Columbia Boulevard, stuff like that. But I mean, if you look at what this reads like. From when I was first, got on this commission, I read through this whole thing and it's quite extensive. And I feel like we could all be dismissed from this council or commission for non-performance of all this stuff. It's quite a bit. I mean, I'm not saying I don't want to do it. I'm saying we haven't been doing it.
Do you guys review like the staff reports that come out for the council meetings at all? For like upcoming projects? I'm just kind of curious because that was something the council worked on, was getting consistent reports from staff. So that might be also helpful. Like, I think we could do a better job, but also reviewing what the upcoming projects are, right? Because I think it's going to take both entities here to come together to try to bridge that collaboration.
We have our staff report from Buck.
I'm talking about,
But not
like,
the one from
this comes like with the projects that is being worked on in the city, right? So that's maybe how we can have a little fail safe to catch some of those.
For a while, we were going to other committee meetings. One of us was a different one to try to hear if anything was going on in the parks because we weren't getting the communication. And so we did these meetings and we never heard nothing at the meetings, and I came to a couple of your guys's and nothing was ever talked about parks, so we kind of stopped doing it.
John, is there a way that we could just kind of, if there's any kind of improvements or anything going on that they can get that?
Run
email?
that through a Parks lens,
Yeah,
impact lens, sure.
Even with the staff reports, is there something, maybe there's an amendment to that report that it's like, is there anything that would fall under chapter 2.47 Parks and Trails Commission?
so
Yes,
if they were to get those reports, they could review the upcoming projects.
that was my
and
point.
If there's any concerns, you could.
Right.
bring it up, right? So that would work, right? That would help.
I think that would be an additional step.
One thing I'm thinking of, I don't know that we get a separate report for parks, do we? I know we've gotten several reports from Public Works, which parks falls under Public
Yeah,
Works.
it's really just
And
hodgepodge.
generally, parks aren't mentioned there much, so that might be something to think about. Maybe we could get a little more specific information on parks instead of just overall Public Works.
I think that would be a really good idea. I like it. Okay. How many times a year do we have this set up, this meeting? Twice.
The next one will be in April.
Is that enough, do you think?
I think,
Start with, or?
I think depending on what projects are going on with the city, if there's nothing big going on, I don't see why we would need it too often, especially if we're able to be productive in the meetings. But if there's something bigger going on, maybe more often.
Well, and we can always schedule something outside of that, like if something really came up, right?
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
seems logical to keep it at the two. The Joint
Yeah.
Planning Commission, we're already talking about backing that one off because we have nothing to talk about, like, when we get there. So maybe we leave that at two, but we just do a better job on the communication vehicle.
So you always got stuff going on for parks.
Yeah, I think this is definitely something that we could work on improving. That gives us an action item. John, are you taking copious amounts of notes over there?
I am, this is,
Okay.
glad I'm here.
We're glad you're here too. Okay, we'll move on to number 3, parks assessments.
Great. So there is an initiative that I started this year, and I'm really excited about it, and haven't gotten too many complaints yet from the commissioners. But looking to do a few things. One is adapt the way that we report on the parks themselves. Also adapt the way that we as commissioners take responsibility for the parks and to share the workload of the parks. And also to create this sense that every single commissioner is responsible for every single park. In addition to that, collecting data, because I love data, to use for future projects, including the master plan, which is the next item I hope to talk about today. And so I worked and created a parks assessment tool, which is really neat. We have a link. Everybody has access to the link on the commission. And I sent to Councilor Sundin as well. And it takes honestly like 3 to 5 minutes of actual input on, this is a nice questionnaire. You go to the park, you pick where you went, the day you went, how the weather was, if there's anything that you saw that was a concern, if there are any people visiting, if you did interact with the people visiting, what was their feedback? It's really a fun little tool that gets our eyes out on the parks. And I just divvied the parks up among everyone, and then we did 3 months with the parks we have right now, and then look to switch it up. So then at the next meeting, hoping to give everybody a new set of parks.
So I have 2 questions with that. One,
Mhm.
can the rest of the council get a link? So
Yeah,
that
if you guys want to.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And then the second question, how do you extrapolate that? You extrapolate that data. Do you generate a report?
Yeah.
that You guys go through?
And it's really neat. So we had
Love to see these.
yeah. We had an Excel sheet at the last commission meeting too, which is really great. So it's going to be keeping a running data, and that is all on a city-based account. So it's available if it's ever required for like FOIA purposes. And let's see if I can hop in there real quick and show you. And if not, I can definitely grab out that information for you.
It's very user friendly.
It's super user friendly, which is rad.
I can figure it out. You can figure it out.
And that was my worry is, not anyone, I'm not calling anyone out individually, but,
Even I could use it. Don't we go the same?
yeah.
You don't have to find it now, but I think
Okay.
that that's something that I think council would probably be interested in
It's so
getting and seeing.
great.
One of the things I'd like to add to that, and I know like Scott said, it's one of the more enjoyable things he's done. It is. But what's kind of cool, like I had Columbia View Park, playground equipment at Cormac and Campbell Park. And every time I went there, you know, if you just walk through, you just walk through. Yeah. But every time I've gone to place, there's been people there, so I start talking. to them. And you know, it's like the playground, there's people, one lady was 3 or 4 kids, I come here every day, and so there was a whole bunch of ladies there that day, and so they just, and then I talked to the kids, oh, this needs to be, you know, I mean, if I just walk through there, you know, oh, check, this is fine, you know, but you know, the kids start saying this needs to be done, the parents said this needs to be done, so, you know, talking to the people who actually are there, I think it was Dana's idea, I wasn't really that excited about it.
Was it really for it? Look at that.
But, you know, I think it really does have, and the other thing it does too is it gets us to other parks, because there's only a couple parks that I would usually go to. And so now every 3 months I've got a different assignment.
Botanical Gardens and Hill Nature Park.
Nice.
I would have never visited those parks otherwise.
Well, like I guess the thing that is popping up at that is pretty user friendly dashboard, isn't it?
It's so great. It's so great. And you can see who's filled out, the
Who's
assessments.
doing their job and not.
Who's doing their job and
I
not.
turned mine in.
Little Taylor,
Okay.
I get it.
It's accountability.
Yeah.
But it's great and keeps so much wonderful data. You can look at it in this way. You can look at it in an Excel sheet. We can go through and see, you know, let's say there's been a danger tree down on one of the trails. We documented it this 1 month. Okay, is it still there 3 months from now?
Right.
Who's been reporting it? Has it been attended to? I can quick send important stuff over to Buck or inform anybody else of like, hey, this is important, do this, and then keep track of, was it done?
Does this report in the totality of this report, does this get sent to Buck?
No,
Like
What
we
I-
have a whole bunch of like valuable information. here.
Yeah.
What are we doing with it?
so right now we're keeping and gathering it. We go over it. It actually creates a fun little slideshow that I did put at one of the I'd have to get into it to show you, but then I sent the Excel sheet each time, so that does go to Buck.
Cause back to what Counselor Sundin said with staff report and having parks on there, like this information would be great to have. And not only that, the work you guys are doing, like we want as many citizens to have engagement, right? Like, if there's a very small group of people that know what they're doing out there, they're, you know, we want a lot of friends at the parks, so.
Yeah.
I felt Buck got this.
He doesn't receive the whole thing. I'm able to send him like the Excel sheets and stuff. He doesn't have access. Well, he can log in anytime if he wanted to and have access to it, but I've just been sending him the important.
Because like, you know, like at the playground equipment, there was like a bunch of notes I made,
Yeah,
and they don't do any good if Buck doesn't see them.
right. But we went over them at the meeting too and brought that. So it gives us a few minutes at our Parks and Trails meeting to discuss those things and make sure that gets on his to-do list. So we were able to discuss that and make sure that that does get done.
Got it.
And follow up. But I've been enjoying it. I mean, I created it, so I'm biased, but it's, they've been completing it and it's really rad.
I think we can do.
Out of town, and the computer went down, so I couldn't do the last one.
But that's okay. You did some of them and that I was actually really amazed. I was really impressed. And I can't say this enough. I was really impressed at the level of participation from the commissioners on his background.
Also can participate.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, that's exciting. Okay, master plan.
Yeah, so that being said, some of the data that we're collecting from the parks assessments, I based some of the questions to be similar to the data that was collected for the previous master plan. Now, our Parks and Trails master plan is incredibly outdated. It was done in 2015. It's been 10 years. And and the data that was used on it too was from a very small population of people. I think there was 200 responses that they utilized for their data for the entire master plan. So if we all just do our assessments as we're supposed to, in 1 year, we'll have far more data, accurate data than was used previously. But that's something else. The master plan is incredibly outdated. Some things have been completed on it, some things not. And now as commissioners, we have items that we would love to move forward on. And when discussing them with city administrator, one of the things that was brought recently, the commissioner was told, we'll put it on the master plan. So one thing is, how do we add items to the master plan? Is it a thing that is amendable? Can we do addendums to it? Is it time? Are we able to create a new master plan? Where is all of that?
If we're gonna add things, is it better to add a bunch of things at one time or
We're gonna
individual?
ask John
Yeah, this is-
to give us these answers, hopefully.
About having it to the master planners, we can find granting for it if it's on the master plan.
Right.
John, how do we update the master? Who's responsible for the Parks and Trails master plan?
So the Parks and Trails Master Plan was something when I initially came in 2012 that we prioritized and had resources for, getting Shaw or Dreher program, with financial resources as well, grant resources to do that. Yeah, it's
So are you
a few years and it
responsible for the master plan, or have you?
responsible for the plan, but, and we've been talking about it over the several years, how we update it and whether it's, a good idea to amend it, or if we would just start over and do a wholesale new update of the plan. And it's a time and resources thing in the planning department. I'm down to one planner right now, trying to figure things out. And those grant resources that we use first time are probably available again to do it. I think it's very appropriate to have a side list of things you want to see on that plan. We get to that point of updating it.
So at that point, depending on the amount of items, then just either do an amendment to them or make a choice at that point to actually just redo it.
That point, I think now, because it's been
Just to redo the whole
It's been
thing.
10 years, a lot of things have been completed, but there's other things that are completely different, like the whole waterfront. All of that is so different that, my opinion is if you're able to get the resources and the time to make a new master plan, it'd be appropriate.
I mean, in the meantime, see what the problem would be. Having
The addendums.
the addendum. What it is, it's just, most of it's, kind of pie in the sky as it is right now. But it does give us a chance to see it through on these types of things. Such as with what Dan was talking about, was me going to John, saying if I could buy a golf course. Which he said, you'd have to get on the master plan, so you'd have to have the council say yes. So I figured I'd have to go to the commission first to see, get their feedback and okay. And that's how we started going on the master plan. And when I said, well, let's do it, Howard said, well, we've had other things that we wanted to add to the master plan. So this is,
So that's why would it be better if we did them individually, or if we just came up with a list? That's what we need to know. Is it easier to addendum it if it's got multiple things, or just throw you one thing at a time?
And part of why it's important for us to update the master plan and make sure that the items that we're looking to work on are on there is for grant acquisition, things like that. Having it on there and utilizing that as a tool to obtain grants is really going to impact a lot of the projects that we want to do. And it also helps, I think, shape the focus and give us, kind of a clear path of what we're working on and following, because not everything that was on the master plan is going to be able to be completed, nor maybe is it even in the plans anymore. And so, so it's not really a guideline at this point. I think it's outdated enough where we can't really utilize it as one of our guiding factors.
Sean, what would you think a timeline for an assessment on the master plan?
Sounds like there's it's like a side list ready of ideas that want to be incorporated into an addendum.
We can solidify that at our next meeting.
They've gone over the years too.
Is that something that, I mean, it seems like that's the easier step to do right now.
Short order, yeah.
I think all, you said all would require would council vote on it. On the,
Commission make a recommendation to the council to.
yeah, then they vote on it and then.
So we're gonna put it back in your court now. So you guys finish your list and then you can bring it to council and then we'll vote on it. Sound reasonable?
I'm trying to get.
What?
I'll give you bigger than Santa's list.
Because sometimes we're looking at things that future dreams that we have that may not happen, like in my life, I'm a bit older. It's like, if we don't put these visions out there somewhere, then it could never happen.
Correct. I would love to see the Milton Creek project and whatnot on the master plan as well. Like, we've been working on that pretty
I
hard.
feel like, and just hear me out for a second, I think that it may be advantageous since there sounds like there's a laundry list of items. Would it seem reasonable to have you guys work on the list and then allow more time at our April joint meeting to actually put this as agenda item and go through the list before we can chat about it, before we can't make decisions on it, but before it ever comes in front of council? Does that seem reasonable? John, does that seem reasonable?
Yeah,
to you?
that's very reasonable.
Seems more efficient.
Or
I just want to add something. About 3 years ago, we were asked by the planning commission to write up what we would change on the master plan, and we all did that as far as I know. So we might already have that in our system.
That would be outdated as it is. It's
that would be outdated as well at this point. I would love to see if you guys would be okay with us as the commission chatting about that at our next meeting and maybe putting together a preliminary list and send that over to council for you guys to discuss. And then I'd love to see progress on it before April, to be honest with you. Especially with, the next round of grants and stuff being available. I'd hate to postpone some of the stuff that I think we could make progress on for that long.
I can see that too. I just like some of there's questions, maybe more so that's an agenda item when you get it done and it's not a joint meeting, but somebody comes and presents,
I
because
can do that.
I also don't want to I don't want to vote on something that I'm also not clear about either. So, I mean,
So with these things, they're just ideas. I mean, it's not fleshed out. So you have the right later on. Now that's not gonna work. I mean, there was, for example, something with the trail through the Penny Human Park, and I went and looked at that. Tried to figure it out to see if it's feasible, and it didn't turn out to be. So, that's, I think I gave notes to Jenny Dimshaw and she put it in her file for, the next master plan.
John, what do you recommend? Like in this case?
I think there's been a fair amount of work on this and it's just getting the resources to get to it.
Right, but do you recommend them just providing a list to council for the amendment?
The initial Parks and Trails Master Plan was based off in large part of a combination of the community survey, that feedback, although it's kind of a limited amount, several hundred people. And the commission at the time, that feedback, and that kind of fed the plan and the timelines, priorities and all of that. And, it's stale now, but a lot of the things in there are really good. Some of the projects are completed.
So John, it can be amended.
It can certainly be amended. Yeah, sure.
Okay, if I may ask the Parks and Trails Commission, and with your approval, if you think this is would be an okay first step and at least try, is at our next meeting, coming together, and if you have any items that you would like to see added on to the master plan, bringing them for the discussion among the commission at the next meeting, and bringing a definition and some outlined information on what that item would be. I could put that together and then request to be on the agenda for an upcoming city council meeting, so that I can go with our list of items and with enough information that I could have dialogue with city council and ask for them to be added on.
I think that's perfect.
I think it's perfect too.
You'll be okay with that?
Counselor Sunday, are you good with that?
Cool, and we'll try for that.
I like it.
Key ring or something on the floor.
Look at us-
Yeah, dropped it.
Look at us collaborating already. We're already getting stuff done. Hey, Milton Creek.
Great. And so did you happen to have your, that presentation available so you could show? No?
Wasn't sent over, then I'm not sure. but-
Okay, so we discussed at the last, planning commission, city council joint meeting, and I came and represented the Parks and Trails Commission. I don't know if you remember that about, the Milton Creek project that we've been working on.
That's the one we were just talking about earlier today,
Yeah.
right? Okay, yes.
And
Yes.
so we've been doing some work. One of the items for homework that I left from there with was getting the topography maps and looking at the particular region that the council was not sure that they would be comfortable approving as far as the land ask that we were looking for. And so since then, the commission has gone out and done site visits, and Lucas put together an incredible presentation that he showed our most recent Parks and Trails meeting that spoke directly to that section of area that was under question. And bullet point being the Camas fields and most of the quarries. The most important aspect of what we're looking to preserve is actually located right in that specific region that was questionable as far as council goes. It is up on a high basalt rock region. It has vernal pools, so they're seasonally wet, and it has the most incredible flora and, to be honest, invaluable regions that needs to be saved. So I would like to say, based on our research and site visits and the presentation that Lucas had put together, we would like to move forward and ask the commission or to ask the city council to approve. Really, it's the original ask of the entire region. It's marked.
I could interject.
Yeah.
With Lucas's data, he showed that in Willamette Valley, there originally was 400,000 acres of Camas. Now there's only 1,000, and this is 5 acres of that 1,000, so it's 0.5% of what is left.
Can I get that presentation sent to me? Of course.
Yeah, I was just
Very good.
He did a wonderful.
he's-
go back and watch it, but if we could look at the presentation. John, can you send that out to the entire council?
That last.
Yeah, that sounds like it's gonna be an agenda item, so.
And then another thing is that trying to build a trail. So this kind of segues into the master plan. Acting on that, we need to have that in a master plan. Have been meeting with the port, the grant writer there, and they're really keen on this. And I'm supposed to be meeting hopefully Friday, because we're doing an article, a column that has Sean Clark does for the Spotlight, and Lindsay does some ghostwriting, and she will be doing a column on this, the Milton Creek.
John, do we have time on the next regular council to put this on the agenda?
The agenda is still under development, but it doesn't look terribly long.
I know we had something the first, like, I think we had well, maybe we can get it done. Can we try to do a target to have it done in the month of November? Like either the first or second meeting to get it on the agenda so we can get that piece done? We don't want to lollygag, just get things done.
Yeah.
Get things done around here.
Yeah, we would love that too. And then, and on that, I know I can make myself available to come and discuss it and,
I would like to if I'm available.
yeah, I would love Lucas because he's the one I think who's most educated on, the flora and,
There,
yeah.
just taking photos and those are in the presentation as well.
Thank you for all your hard work.
I want to speak for Lucas, but he's a great guide too. So if anybody wanted to go on a field trip. let me
Yeah.
know.
It's a cool field trip.
We're trying to
He's on-
get a hike together with some of the port people. If we could get you.
I would love to go.
I would love an invite too, since we said it first, that we can go because then we'll have.
So you can,
No, then I was gonna say I want to go too. You could go on the Meals and Wheels.
one step at a time, baby steps for me, man.
We could take two.
Yeah.
Bring a jacket just in case it rains.
Have you guys been down there?
Not for a while.
I
no.
haven't been down for a while. I've kind of meandered through, but I'd love to get a full on tour. I'd love
There's
to,
some really cool areas down there, right?
There's like seeing new.
Very
things all the
special.
time.
I'd love to get a tour.
I'd rather do that.
We'll
than-
let- we'll let-
And there's even some that are kind of off the beaten path that's on the port property too.
anything.
Stories back there. Incredible for the history of St. Helens.
Beautiful.
Fantastic. All right,
Be a sin not to save this place, that place.
Urban Trail.
Right.
Wow, enthusiasm.
Hey.
Jerry, you're up.
This moment.
4 or 5 years. 5 years.
5,
Jerry,
No, well. I would like these back, except for the city council, they can keep their copy. And there is a change, though, my fellow members of Parks and Trails Commission. Yes, there is a change. You know how this thing changed. October 2023. You never seen it.
I need to.
This is a project that we've been working on for at least 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So see what's gonna happen here. So what is the status of the urban trail? Okay, so right now, the kiosk has been made. The Parks and Trail, the Parks Department made the kiosk being stored. And it's ready to be put in place once we get a place for it to go. So that's taken care of. Buck took care of that and. Remember what the carpenter's name was, Ron?
Roger.
Roger, yeah.
Well, Roger's
Yep, he built it before he retired.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. Okay, trail templates. This is what it's gonna look like. And Dana made some templates for it. And Buck has experimented with it down at his office on the floor. And it really looks good. So this will point the direction that you go. So, you know. We're kind of excited about that. So those are some of the good things. So here's something that's good and bad. So if you would turn to the very last page, the map. I know most of you have seen this, the front of this a lot. So originally, what the Parks and Trails Commission wanted to do, we wanted to put the trail down by where the trail by the river is going to be, the river walk. But Mohammed has said, nope, can't put the kiosks down by Columbia View Park. You can't walk, you know, through that area there. He says that's gonna be off limits until, you know, destruction gets taken care of. So that could be, who knows?
So this is a temporary.
Yes, but the thing is, yes, Scott. But the thing is, I wasn't gonna say this, but this is where we were gonna have the ADA too. So we want an ADA portion of it also. So Buck met with Mohammed. he said no, and then Buck and I got together. And then Buck and I were thinking, well, what can we do? And so one of the things we looked at was, and this is one of our original thoughts 4 or 5 years ago, it's in the beginning there, is to put the kiosk in the Rose Garden. But the Rose Garden belongs to the county, okay? Where am I going with this? I don't want to get too far out of things. So, so Buck and I, and then Mohammed gave his approval to this, okay, so. After Buck and I said, hey, this is what we'd like to do, we'd like to do the red line there. He goes back to Mohammed Mo and says, yep, you guys can do that. You guys can go down the sidewalk there in front of a Crooked Creek Tavern, you know, down to where your steps are to go up into Nob Hill Park there. So there's a change. Maybe in the future, you know, when the Riverwalk gets done, I have a feeling that that's where the trail will go. And then the loop that we have there for the ADH, hopefully that'll get done in the future. Need to throw something in here about cost. Most of it is labor. Doug Morton and myself, we said we'd donate the concrete. And Buck says that they can do most of the labor. And I know that Howard, Scott, and myself, we said that we would help if they wanted us to help on it. So the cost is actual money that has to be spent, not very much, but labor. And we'd like to do, did I say that later on, maybe? No, okay. So items that need to be addressed. So there's a couple of those. So one is the placement of the kiosk. So about 5 years ago, give or take, I met with the county commissioners, and they were very positive about, at that time, we were thinking about putting the kiosk in Plaza Park. But that never went anywhere. So it just kind of looked right. So Buck is scheduling a meeting with the county commissioners. He's going to ask them if we can put the kiosk in the Rose Garden. So we don't, that's one thing that needs to be addressed. Another thing that needs to be addressed is authorization of the implementation of the urban trail. So at our last meet, no, not our last meeting, in September, we passed a motion to ask the city council to authorize the implementation of the urban trail. So we'd like for that to happen. I asked Dr. Brandon in October, I said, hey, Brandon, what's been done on that? And he said, well, it's not on our agenda yet. So when it gets on the agenda, then you guys need to decide if you want to go through with it or not go through with it.
John, is there a reason why this isn't on the agenda or hasn't been on the agenda?
Okay.
Come on.
Joe's used to it. He does a great job.
It's something we've been talking about for years, right?
So please, what can we move it from, stop talking about it and moving on it? I guess that's where I'm at. Spirit of getting things done and moving and progression. What do we need to do? I mean, honestly, there's stuff that I don't know in the background still, like, cause I've only been here a year, like that I may not be privy to or just.
We gotta decide on,
That's why I
we gotta get
John.
permission to put the kiosk, and hopefully the county will give us permission to put it there. If not,
They did say yes to put it in the plaza a couple of years ago.
yeah, 4 or 5 years ago, but it's totally new people there.
Is that where y'all want it, in the Rose Garden?
Right now, yes,
Temporary.
yes,
They-
Okay.
we
Yes.
want it down at the Columbia View Park but with the ongoing construction, it's not able to be down there.
That's my question is, a good portion of that park is completed now, so.
So
And to me, one of the strengths of this is that you go through so many city parks and it seems like it would be a waste not to go through Columbia
Right,
View
but-
Park.
with that, I was actually gonna ask if there could possibly be the ability to put it down at where the roundabout is, and there's the.
Right up
grassy
Calvin
area,
Street.
And yeah, Seaman is over there, and the chairs and stuff, so maybe somewhere in that region, because that is complete, that's not going to be touched anymore.
Don't need county permission.
You
Right.
don't need county commission.
well, another place we were gonna put it a long time ago was where Seaman used to be, the ramp that goes down to the docks there, where we were gonna put it, that's where we were gonna put it. That was our first,
Stage eventually.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be kind of out of the way though.
yeah,
I think the roundabout would be a really great spot. And right now it's already where trails are, and then they could cut up that street here, which is already nice, and then just connect here. So instead,
right.
it'd go where we had initially planned through the completed area of Columbia View Park, then they can head up here and join in on that. The temporary trail here, which would be ADA. So you're still not worrying about getting into any of the river walk.
So it
section?
would go through, it would go right there by the plantation and that
Yeah.
area, right through there.
Cause we could do that.
You know,
Great.
you know, that's, I can talk to Buck about that and see where we really want it.
But either way, if we could get permission to start marking, you know, even if we have to wait a little bit to get the kiosk situated, if we can get the okay to be like, yep, situate it where they approve. And yes, start the marking, because then we can go and we'll be creating little QR codes that you can scan and like see where you're at on the maps. But I can't really do any of that until we get the final, okay, pull the trigger, yes, start.
Counselor Sunday,
Well, there's-
do you know why this hasn't been brought before council or moved forward?
I know Jerry and Buck have been working on it back and forth a lot, but I don't know, it's just never been
Yeah.
escalated up, so.
In September, we passed a motion, you know, asking the city council to approve the implementation of it. You know, we do have to decide where it's gonna start at. You know, I'd have to look at that and see if there's actually, you know, room or space to put. Buck would have to look at it, and then, you know, Mohammed would have to give his approval. I mean, we've been working on this for like 5 years, so we're kind of getting down to where, hey, it's getting ready to happen, it looks like. So, you know,
Just see the city council say, go forward,
Yes.
do whatever it takes to get it done.
it
now."
wouldn't, you know, I would prefer for it to start in Columbia View Park somewhere, to be quite honest, because it's nicer. But, you know, Mohammed,
And you can start anywhere.
yeah,
We'll have signs all over the place.
we got to have a place that we can put the, you know, that we can put the kiosk though, you know, that's. the issue.
Right.
So when I get through here tonight, I'll go down, take a look at it. John, you walk?
Oh,
Yeah, okay, we'll go take a look at it. So. Okay,
And you started this on your notes, and you might have started it and said it was gonna get back to the bottom, but you started off on labor. We looked at the great design, and then you said there is an actual cost, but we then didn't actually finish that sentence.
oh,
The Public
the
Works.
cost would be for, the cost is the labor.
yeah.
Because so they're gonna have to make forms, you know, that would probably be 2x6s. I know that I could purchase it, Doug could purchase it. They have a lot of extra wood down there. So basically, it's labor, you know, the paint. Buck has buckets of paint to mark that he fitted. So the cost would be the labor. Okay, so the last thing I said here.
Does that answer your question, or,
Well, kind of.
I mean, the labor would be building the.
Yeah, no, I got that
Are we
piece. Do
gonna
they
do
have the
that?
bandwidth to do that? Like, do they have the bandwidth to start a project like this?
Because it says they.
Buck says they do.
Okay.
And so,
Especially if we were to do it, say, in not the summertime.
Right.
So if we can get the okay and really get this stuff going, so we could do it during the slower seasons when they're not maxed out, maintaining the parks.
So I have a silly question, but you guys passed the motion in September. But I'm just kind of curious how we're like almost. Like, how come we don't know about it as council that you guys passed this and then?
Another question of mine.
I don't know, because when we pass
That
it,
seems
it
like
seems that
Because everything. we
it's to go to you guys from, I'm assuming from our staff or from.
Okay. Okay, so we have a little opportunity to improve there. So I want to make sure that if we have any of our commissions and advisory committees or anything like that, and there's something that's passed that council needs to do, I don't want us to feel, I don't know how Counselor Gunderson and Sundin feel.
I want to know about it.
I want to know about it so that we can act on it. So that's it. So I think we have a little bit of improvement there. So this is the only motion that you guys have made that is needs to be in front of the council currently to get moving?
let me
beyond
finish what I'm,
all of our-
can I finish this and then I will be done with this?
Okay,
So basically Dana kind of addressed this, but what I wrote down here is the Parks and Trails Commission would like to start implementation in November after they get through with Halloween Town, and I started to write, or when it's convenient for the Parks Department to do it. So, but Buck has said that yes, they have the ability and he's willing to, to do it.
Okay.
Cause I think too, I mean, if Buck's busy, we probably want to go out and level a little square where the concrete would go and then all they.
Yeah, Buck and I are gonna walk around and they, where they go again.
Cause we do that up at Nob Hill, we'll like make a little gravel slab and then they just come in and.
I'm just kind of curious how many times you've passed out these exact presentations. I'm gonna keep this one though. I made notes in it.
I think you said you guys could keep it.
Yeah.
Yours.
Answer your question on the
He
motion.
always takes ours
The
away.
motion that we
And I paid for these myself because
approve the new.
I got a
um,
draft from the city one time and I wanted to copy some stuff.
Reviewed at this last.
Thought we voted on the last commission, didn't we? We just voted to.
Yeah, so that would be the only other thing that we've done.
Could I add something with the urban trail? When we met with the port, they showed me a map, but they envisioned what the Milton Creek Trail, they have a trail going across their site. The Folk Pellet site, which is, they're looking to develop into a marina. There because the launch at Scappoose Bay is filling in. And they're looking at a trail across that. They're hoping to get it all the way to the riverfront trail, and then everything would be connected. That's.
The port's looking at this, Scott?
Excuse me?
The port is right now?
Yeah. That's what they're looking at, right? I mean, they want. Yeah.
Sure.
They're quite keen about.
Good.
Because it fits into their narrative to get their grant money to cap the pump and television site. Because they have to have another use for it.
Howard and I
Sense.
sit on the Scappoose Bay Advisory
Yeah.
Council.
Cause they spend so much money on trying to dredge it and it still never does anything.
I'm on that
So it's
too.
only
Oh,
making.
yeah, we all are.
Oh, look at
Have it
that.
down farther. Yeah, oh, yeah, you're there too, aren't
Don't say much there either, do it.
Three.
It's a deep one.
Clap for you when you come in there. So
That's true.
So
That changes.
can you take a step back? So John, can we try to get this by the end of November in front of council so that we can vote on it? And then we can get any supplemental information that council is unaware of at this time, where it may not be able to be feasible, or all the information, the minutia that goes along with it.
Certainly, that's the council. So is, just for clarification, is the kiosk is the same? Saw realigned.
Yeah, so it's a,
But
what
it's-
I actually had cut out, it's really neat, it's a, it's not plexi, it's like a thick vinyl, cut out these templates, and so Buck can just go and spray, and so they'll be on cement slabs.
That the sign that's gonna go into the kiosk. Yeah, it's not, that's not the template that.
We have a kiosk, but we don't know what we're gonna put on our
Yeah,
kiosk.
here's
We
what,
have signage made as soon as we get the final okay of where the kiosk is going to be placed for the trail starting, and then we'll create the trail map from there. So
yeah,
we're just waiting on
what,
that.
what we talked about was Dana and Crystal, at least Dana for sure, she's gonna work with Crystal. And we were gonna have a QR code on there, which Dana knows how to, or her friends do anyway. Make a QR code so people can pull up the QR code. We're also gonna have a map on there that shows where people go. And I don't know what else there'll be, other things there'll be other than the QR code and the map, but I'm sure there'll probably be some other things that end up on.
Sounds like if this gets moved up to city council, you guys could get on this starting at whenever that next meeting, whenever it gets approved.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I got another minor question here too, is that since we're talking about getting things approved, we're talking about that, with the new water from, or the bluff trail going down here. I've heard that we would like to have a new kiosk at the bottom of the railroad type staircase too. And that would be another place for information about, we could have the map of the urban trail on that. But I heard that they may have to get permission to be able to put a kiosk down there at the base of our steps, so I don't know. I don't know where it's going on that, but
That's a good idea.
that's a want. That I think we
Seems
should.
like a really good place for a kiosk, yeah.
Okay. Have a note on that too, John. John is the official note taker.
Sorry. I mean, I know Buck was talking about it or whatever, but some. Totally, but I thought I did bring that up. Maybe we'll speed it up.
Might as well try to get it all done at the same time. What else do we have before we adjourn this meeting?
That is all that we had on
Wow.
our agenda. Thank you so much.
Productive meeting.
Incredibly productive.
We like to be efficient.
Yeah, very much so.
Right. All right. It is 5:16 and this meeting is adjourned.